friends, and welcome to another Ask Zach. I hope you're doing well today. Today, I wanted to kind of share with you two albums that really made a big difference in my understanding of the history of country guitar and really understanding the width and depth and variance and just the tones and everything that are part of the rich history of country guitar playing. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. It's two compilation albums that Guitar Player magazine did back in 90 and 91, and it's just dealing with guitar, music that was recorded before 1980, and so it's an amazingly well done snapshot, more than a snapshot, of just all the different, styles of country guitar that existed, before 1980. All right. So while you're thinking about it, if you've been enjoying the show and you haven't done it yet, then please go down in the corner and subscribe. If you've already subscribed, then I appreciate you supporting the show. There's multiple different ways. There's merch. You can find that at AskZach.com. There's Friends of Ask Zach, which by doing so, you get to see the episodes early without commercials. You also get some D'Andrea medium heavy Ask Zach branded guitar picks, and you get exclusive lessons. So that's a wonderful thing. There's also a tip jar information. There's also, you can hit the super thanks. Those are all ways to support the channel, and I really appreciate you doing that. All right, let's just go ahead and let's dive in. Briefly, my kind of introduction to country music was an Eric Clapton album, of all things. So he had the live album Just One Night, and his guitarist or co-guitarist on the album was the great Albert Lee. I'd never heard him play before. I'd not been exposed to that, and I really loved his playing and his tone, and that led me to start diving and finding, and so I start finding things like James Burton and Don Rich and Clarence White, just from reading articles about, and Jimmy Bryant, reading articles about Albert Lee and finding out who he listened to. Well, this was all happening in the late 1980s, and of course, during this time period, I'm spending a lot of time at record shops. I'm spending time at record shops and music stores and playing, whatever gigs I can. Well, at the record shop, and also in Guitar Player magazine, I started seeing ads for this series called Legends of Guitar. And I realize these are going to glare on you, so I'll put up a graphic. But what Guitar Player magazine did was they, partnering with Rhino Records, which I guess is part of Warner Brothers, they released a whole series of CDs that were concerning the legends of different genres of guitar playing. So for country music, they had volume 1 and 2. They also did it for blues and for classical and jazz. And for rock, they did like Rock the 50s volume 1 and 2 and Rock the 60s volume 1 and 2. And all of this entire series was very expertly done. Great artwork, great liner notes, great selection, kind of essential listening, as it were, in the different styles. I highly recommend that you pick these up. But of course, we're going to focus on the country one. So I went to the record store and I was able to buy both volumes, and it clued me into just an enormous amount of music that I never would have listened to otherwise, because it threw me off on all these different rabbit holes. So I can remember getting, volume 1, and the first tune was Joe Maphis and Larry Collins, and hearing them play their double neck Mosrite guitars, or hearing the tune El Paso with Grady Martin on guitar, and realizing that, wait a second, this song's like 5 minutes long, and he's playing fills the entire time, and he's not repeating himself. And by the way, he's playing a steel string, as you can tell, because he does a couple bends that are not really doable on a nylon string guitar. All sorts of other great things. I was exposed to Spade Cooley, and of course, that's if you really want to go down the Spade Cooley rabbit trail, you can find the Cocaine and Rhinestones episode about him. That's pretty gnarly in the grotesque category. He was very abusive to women. Roy Lanham, hearing him on Lost Weekend, where here's this country guy, but he's basically, it was a jazz tune, and he's playing Fender guitars, galloping on the guitar. Hearing Chet Atkins play in more of his early kind of adventuresome style. He later got into kind of this smooth, I hate to say this, but kind of smooth, easy listening, just playing the melody or playing, of course, just the thumb style thing. But the galloping on guitar really shows him playing hot guitar, playing, you can hear the influence of like Les Paul and Django Reinhardt. Honey Fingers with Leon Rhodes. That's worth the price of admission alone. And hearing like Sugarfoot Rag by Hank Garland and Reggie Young on I Think I'll Just Stay Here and Drink. That's actually the youngest recording that's on this compilation. That's from 1980. Doc Watson, hearing Clarence White on volume 2. That's where I first heard Corn Pickin' by James Burton and heard him play the harmonic and then bend it behind the nut, figuring out how to do that. Merle Travis doing Blue Smoke, which even Jeff Beck has talked about how hot of a recording that is. Hearing Roy Clark playing quasi-surf music on dented Fender, just on and on. Country Boy, the version of Albert Lee playing that with the Hot Band from back in the 70s. That's where he's got Ricky Skaggs and Emmylou singing harmony with him. That's amazing. Or Tony Rice doing the James Taylor tune, Me and My Guitar. Jimmy Colvard, one of my favorites, playing 6 Days on the Road, where he's kind of flicking the string, seemingly, to get that sound that you hear on the original version of the Dave Dudley 6 Days on the Road. And Pork Chop Stomp with Grady Martin playing, sounds like he's playing his Bigsby double neck, because at times it sounds like you hear him do his the high octave thing because he had a double neck that had a high octave neck. Also, this is where I heard Junior Barnard first, which of course I had an episode on recently. So these are just fantastic, and they give you a great overview of country music, country guitar, especially pre-1980. So what I recommend is that you find these albums used someplace if you have a CD player. Partially because mainly because of the liner notes. So the liner notes and the compilation was kind of done by Rich Kienzle, and he is a well-respected guitar music journalist. He's written tons of books, and he wrote the liner notes for the Legends of Country Guitar, and it's quite good. And there's also credits on who played what and such, and that's extremely helpful. But because of this, what I've done is I've created a Spotify playlist that has everything that I could find on here. There were a couple tracks like Honey Fingers and one of the Jimmy Bryant and Speedy West tunes that was not available on Spotify. But everything else is going to be on the playlist, and the link will be in the description. Talking a little bit more about Rich Kienzle, I'm just a fan of his writing. He's written liner notes on a lot of albums, and he's written a number of books that I have. He wrote more recently. There was a George Jones biography called The Last Tour that very, very well done. There's also this old book, A Great Guitarist, which is a great overview where it has sections on blues, country, jazz, and rock. This one was at a library, and it was last checked out in February 6th of 1987. I have the card right here. So, yeah, that's fun. Then here's another Rich written book. This is a Southwest Shuffle, which is also a great one. This is focused on like Spade Cooley and Hank Thompson, Jimmy Bryant, Tennessee Ernie Ford, and such. This is a great book also that well worth checking out. So I hope you will check out the Spotify playlist, or check out, or find the CDs on eBay or Amazon or wherever you find used CDs, your place of choice, and pick those up and get influenced and start. That caused me to get into Junior Barnard and start listening to Bob Wills, and who knows what it might clue you into. It might make you start listening to Tony Rice or Albert Lee, or who knows what. So check those out and see what you like. All right. See you next time. Bye-bye.